Okay, I see participants entering the room. Welcome, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending from where you log in. My name is Helena de Munk, Oxygen for Leadership, and welcome to this first launch of our Oxygen for Leadership Labs. I'm so happy to be in the company of three straffe madammen, as we say in Dutch, Olivia Verhulst, Ali Meegan, and Rachel Smets. Olivia is from Belgium, but living in Spain. Ali is from the UK, living in Spain. And Rachel is originally from Belgium, now living in Holland, but actually living everywhere. So welcome, welcome. Before we start, maybe some housekeeping. You are all muted, so because there will be a lot of you, we hope, but you can have all your information, your questions, your feedback in the chat, and we will deal with it in the course of our lab, or we will hold your questions for the Q&A, depending on how we can introduce them. Just to make sure that you hear us, so say hi in the chat. Tell us from where you are. Hi, Jane, from the US. So let us know that you're here and you can see us, you can hear us. Also, please mute your phones. Make sure that you are fully focused on our topic because we're here to share our learnings. Hi, Xavier. Hi, Mossa. So I guess you can all hear and see us. So we can start with the introduction of our panelists. So Olivia, please, the floor is yours. Tell me a little bit more about you.
Well, thank you, and good afternoon, everybody, wherever you are. Well, I'm Olivia Verhulst, Belgian living in Spain, as Helena just said. Actually, to make a difference to professional women, as a mentor, I connect, inspire, enable, support professional women by leveraging my 20 plus years international expertise as a professional delivering constructive support with a smile. And what I learned from my various experience in small or corporate business or the public administration scientific world is really what enables me and allows me to read my mentees, help them, enable them, and this is how I give back and make a difference.
Thank you, Olivia.
In a few words, that's who I am.
Excellent.
Happy to
Thank
be
you
here.
so much.
Looking forward to it.
Ali, tell us a little bit more about you.
Sure. Well, I'm founder of Costa Women, which is probably, in Carlsberg terms, the largest women's network in Spain. We have 7,700 members over the whole of Spain, and also women that are thinking about moving to Spain or just dreaming coming here at some point in the future. We have about 20 events a month where we get together, and you'll recognize some very similar words as the words that you just heard from Olivia, because our brand is very much about connect, inspire, enable and support women during their journeys to and around Spain. We started in 2010, so we've been going for it'll be our 10th anniversary next year, so we've been going quite some time. So look forward to being part of this call.
Thank you, Ali. Our last panelist is Rachel. Please, Rachel.
Yes, thank you so much. Wow, I see all these chats coming in from everywhere and all these places in Belgium that I know, and even Canada. I was in Canada all winter, so good to see all of you. My name is Rachel Smets, founder of rachelsmets.com, and besides doing a lot of different things, my main mission and focus is really to help people, ambitious professionals who are stuck and who want to achieve freedom in any possible way that it means to you. Because for me, freedom is traveling the world, but freedom can be a new career, a new job, or anything in life that you're feeling stuck with, and you just want to be you and be who you deserve to be. And the way I do that is with the 3 C's. I go from stuck to clarity, confidence, and create your next step. So that's exactly how I help people and be the person they really desire to be. So thank you so much for having me, and I'm really looking forward to a good discussion today.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I guess you all can see why these panelists were selected for this topic. Before we start, just stay with us till the end, because we all have some giveaways for you at the end of our lab. So We will give you some more information just after the Q&A, and this should be like a good incentive for you, although I'm sure that the enthusiasm and the learnings that the panel can bring should keep you here anyway. So today's topic is building your community of success and leveraging it. It's a topic that in my work as a coach, I often encounter as an issue, especially for women, in terms that they are building a community and a network, but they're mainly do that to socialize and to to be like friends, to be more in general, to have a good time. They don't like to, or they are reluctant sometimes to attend networks, professional networks, where it's much more obvious that people want to leverage their presence there, and they feel very reluctant to leverage their own network in terms of asking for a favor, asking people to support them, to sponsor them, and asking that explicitly. So this is something that we would like to give you our views and, of course, also our learnings on. So my first question for the panelists, when did you become aware of the importance of a professional network?
Well,
who wants to start?
Yeah,
yes, Olivia, thank you.
Actually, maybe I was first aware of what networking was officially beginning of the century. In 2000, I was living in New York, and I went to a chat, like a conference, and it was about networking. And when I got at the end of that chat, I thought, gosh, this guy is making money having a chat with something I do naturally. I mean, I talk with people, and so I think this is important in anything. You are aware of something. That's how you can move forward. Mm-hmm. And then I started realizing, well, yes, how important was networking, and I started maybe not necessarily doing it in a different way, but being aware of what I was doing and going, learning, mm-hmm. trial and errors. That's how we all do. And this is a start.
At what stage of your professional career was that, Olivia?
I was in the middle of my career, I guess. It was 2000. I started in the early 90s, well, fairly beginning. I mean, I was in my 40s. I think maybe mm-hmm. that was important as well. I was around my 40s, an important time for women.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You start knowing what you really want.
Okay. Yeah, or what you really need. Absolutely.
Or don't want.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Olivia. Rachel, when did you become aware of your network?
Well, I would have to say, thinking back, I think for me, the most important was when I first wanted to move abroad. And I realized I really wanted to achieve my dream, and I just created that dream, and I wanted to experience moving abroad and living in another country. And that's when I really started looking around, like, how do I do that? Where do I start? And that's when networking really became important, because I started asking questions to people, people who are already living abroad. I started asking questions. How do you do that? Where did you start? Where do you go? What should I do? What paperwork do I need? And without even realizing that was called network, I was doing it. Mm. And of course, now thinking back, that's when it all started. And from then on, because I travel solo and because I live and work in different countries and I'm always on my own, networking is just what I need, because network is, for me, it's very broad. It's asking questions to people, is, get answers to everything I wanted to do, whether it was to publish a book or write a book and publish, or speak on a stage, or anything as a goal that I had and have in my life. It starts with asking questions to people. And it's also what I tell other people to do that are stuck. It's like, okay, wait a minute, talk, tell me what it is, ask questions. If you want to achieve something, then go see somebody who has what you want to achieve and ask questions. It's actually really simple, but that's, for me, the basis of networking.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. Ali?
I think for me, from the beginning of my career, which was in the 1980s, I worked for a law firm, and it was before the tradition, well, what is now networking. I mean, it's the only way that you got clients when you worked in a law firm was recommendations. And that's how the whole way law firms worked. When I was working at the law firm, you weren't allowed to advertise. So you had to rely on recommendations and referrals. And that's when I first understood about networking. And I don't think it necessarily had that, as Rachel said, I don't think it necessarily had a name on the handle, but that's what it was.
Okay. So actually, Olivia, for you, it was actually by coincidence that you just realized that networking was a possibility, was an option. Rachel, for you, it looks like it's a survival kit, something that helps you with achieving your goals in a very firm way.
Survival is, okay, yeah.
That's too strong as a term.
Yeah, it is, but okay, it's a start.
Excellent, good. So I'm curious about the audience. So how are you, or in what stage are you right now? Do you actively network and leverage that network, or aren't you there yet? Don't you see the purpose of it? Just let us know in the chat box how you are in that area. I'm just checking the chat box. There might be some delay. I see, Philippe, you have a very good question. Please allow me to keep that for the Q&A. Networking, yes, but low results. Okay. What might be reasons for low results in networking? Any ideas here?
What does low results mean? Does it mean you try but you don't get any responses, or does it mean you are unable to contact people, or what does low results mean?
Xavier, can you specify, please? And then Montaha says, I used to network a lot in the past, especially when I was living in Dubai. Okay. Yeah. Well, that makes me wonder why in Dubai. Is there a specific reason for that? Yeah. Okay, need to redefine networking. That's a good one. That's a good one. How would we define networking? What would be a definition of networking?
Oh, I think it's very broad. I'm thinking about networking myself, and for me, because I travel a lot and because my network is mostly online, so it starts with online or offline. You know, it can be both. Maybe you prefer these offline events and networking events, or a drink here and there and talking to people face to face, or online, you know, chatting online, meeting people online. The four of us, we've been meeting online, we're networking online, so we haven't met face to face yet. So I think it starts there.
Yeah, that's a good example, because Olivia, we got in touch through a mutual friend. Yes, and I guess that you introduced me with Ali. I think that's the way, yes. And Rachel, thank you so much. And Rachel, we connected via LinkedIn, yes. Because I see here Xavier reaching out to people you know on LinkedIn or going to events. I guess both, and a lot of other things, Okay.
Actually, I think it's important to say that networking is about building relationship. It's not a one-off exercise. It's not because the strength of your network is what makes it alive. This is really important.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's about relationship. Does that mean that you have to become friends with all the people that you network with?
No, that's different thing.
Yeah, for sure. Because sometimes we tend to use those things like, okay, when I network, I really have to like those people. I really have to be able to, to sit and drink a cava or other things together. Is that necessary for you?
No, not for me.
No.
No. Well, I generally like people, but there are some I don't. It's easier to connect with people you get along, obviously.
Absolutely,
but,
yes.
But I think it's not a must. I mean, when I was living in New York, I remember a lot of people needed to have a purpose to network with people. And to me, I don't think that's the right attitude. I mean, because it doesn't correspond to me. I think it's much more interesting sometimes to just be open. Of course, you wouldn't talk with everyone. You should have a little feeling, but you don't know. You know, there are so many good surprises when you get to know people. So it's important to be open. Okay, sometimes you have to be purposeful. Sometimes you have to grow something, but it's not necessarily a must either. You have to be. It's like online, offline. We live in several worlds at the same time, don't you?
Yeah. So who do you include?
Right.
Oh, sorry, Rachel, you wanted to add?
Yeah, I do. Before I forget, there's 2 points I want to make here. And first of all, when you talk about building relationships, do you have to talk to people that you don't like or like? And that's a topic. It's maybe a different topic, but it is related. And when I like to talk about your tribe, and I think it's really, really important to build a tribe. When you talk about building relationships, build a tribe. And what I mean by that is build the people that give you energy and that help you. And the more you network, the more it's important to kind of find a way to find out, okay, that person I really want to stick to, and that person I just don't feel it. I just don't get energy. It's not motivational. It's like it's getting me tired to talk to this person. If you're getting exhausted by talking to somebody, or you feel like it's not flowing well, then drop it. Then it's a person you shouldn't. So that's what I mean with your tribe. So in my tribe, I select the people that I connect well with, that I understand, that motivate me, that give me energy, that you can stimulate each other. You're like, oh, you do this and I can do that, and maybe I can help you and you can help me. And that's a great energy. So that's one thing. And the other thing I want to mention is, because most of us are international, is that, and many of us have been living in different countries, it does make a huge difference in which country you are when it comes to building relationships. I have had countries like Canada, for example, where like within a week I was just connecting and people were inviting me, and it just went so naturally and so easy. When I was living in France, it just took me forever to see the same people over and over again, and before somebody really said like, hey, should we meet and should we hang out and have coffee together? So again, there is a cultural difference as well.
Okay, yeah. Now, if you start to build, or if you're in the course of building your professional network, I guess what you could say is you don't exactly need to be friends, but you should at least have the same values and the same professional standards. I think those are the things. If they're not there, like you say, Rachel, you just lose energy. Their energy drains.
Well, you waste time.
Yeah. So who do you include? If you start to build, what would you advise people, or who would you advise people to look to include in this professional network? What type of people? What roles? What are your ideas there?
It depends. It depends. Sorry, Ellie, you want to go ahead?
Oh no, it just depends what your outcome you're looking for, because building a professional network and building a tribe can be very different. And it may be that you need people in your professional network that you wouldn't necessarily have in your tribe. So it just depends what you're looking for that network to provide you with. For me, a network is, the word net is in there for a reason. It's because it connects people with thin fibers that connect over a much wider area. I remember when LinkedIn was created, that along the lines of 6 degrees of separation, they're now saying that it's going to be with Facebook and social media, you're now going to be 2 or 3 degrees away from each other now, because everybody is getting so connected with social media. So things have changed in my working lifetime as far as the networking side of it is. But going back to your original question, it just depends what you're looking for.
Okay.
Yep.
Maybe can you put in the chat box what you're looking for if you build a professional network, so we might be able to give you a more concrete answer. In the meantime, I have a question here from Philippe, who says, what about the women-only networks? Let me see. I'm sorry, I need my glasses. I try to do it without. They do not leverage the full power of networking because a women-only network is devoid of a certain kind of expertise that mainly men possesses. That's an interesting one. Okay, ladies.
So what does he think the crucial points are that only men possess?
Well, I guess there's a lot of research and also books mentioning that men have much more leverage power because they look at networking and interaction as a transactional thing, as something where you have like a win-win. And they're very easy in asking, okay, if you can do this for me, then I will do this for you. If you hold my back here, I will hold your back next time, things like that. So apparently what Philippe is saying is what I've read in a lot of books and what I also experience in my coaching work with women is that we tend not to do that. And a lot of women networks are not optimized because those things don't really happen. So is that your experience, or please disagree?
I mean, Philip, I run a women-only network, so and of course I would say that isn't the case, but it isn't the case because I agree with you. Men and women do network very differently.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with that. Women are. A man would, in my experience, go to a networking event, find out if there's anybody there that can help them. If there's not, they would move on. A woman would go to a networking meeting, find if there's anyone that can help them. If there isn't, they would find out how they can actually help other women that are there. So they would offer their network to the other women that are there in the hopes that within their network are other people. So we do network very differently, I agree with you, but it doesn't mean that our network is less efficient or deficit in some way just because we do things in a different way.
Yeah, it's just different. Actually, what I like in Ali's network when I joined it, it presented itself as a network beyond being free that mixed professional and personal aspects, because that's how we function as women. Men do divide, we mix both, and so because we function differently, it's normal to have some female network. That of course doesn't prevent us to be also in some other network that are mixed. I mean, it's like what we talked about earlier, online, offline. It's similar. And by the way, I take the opportunity that Ali's why is my what: to connect, inspire, enable, support. Thank you, Ali. I stole it from you.
Rachel, any views on this?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Yeah. I must say that I do hear quite often things like, I don't want to bother people. I'm afraid to ask. I had this situation with a client where we were talking about something that she was that she wanted to achieve, and actually her boss could really help her by introducing her to a specific organization. And only the thought of asking her boss already made her like nervous or uncomfortable and actually we had a discussion of more than an hour, and 3 times she said, oh, I don't want to bother him. He has so much work. There's so much that's on his plate already. And I was really surprised to hear that this was an executive in a global organization. So we can't say that this is not in common. I guess we are all people that are very actively networking, so we might not struggle with those concerns ourselves, but I guess you might have encountered them with your clients, with Olivia with the mentee, or Rachel with a coaching client, Ali with people in your amazing network. Does it resonate?
I have a magic trick, actually. I don't ask right away. I give forward. And by giving forward, you foster reciprocity. That's exactly what you, Helena, told me. How can I help you? Because I give forward. It makes it really easier if you have that openness and to give forward. Then it's easier to ask. you don't feel as guilty, I guess. Also, what's very important is to say thank you, and why you say thank you. To me, this is really the key to a good building network. Give forward is inclusion. Say thank you is inclusion. So the whole combination is empowering, and this is how you can grow, make the pie bigger. And this is I think for me important.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Rachel?
Yeah, I hear you, Olivia, and I agree. But I can somehow sense that people are now thinking, yeah, right, give forward and say thank you. But what if you really want to ask something? And what if you really have a question? You know, how do you do that? And how do you start a conversation if you don't know the person? Because we have to be honest, it's not, we don't always have something to give. Sometimes we honestly have a question or we really want something from a person. So yeah, I do still think that it's, I don't know. I always think like, you know, if you see the other person, even if it's your boss or somebody that you think high of or something, in the end, what I find helpful, it's just a human being like you and me, you know, and you can just start a conversation. And some people are very afraid of that, or some people are scared, or you know, it's taking that step to really ask a question, whether it's live face to face or online. You know, it is a step that you have to take. You know, it's an effort that you have to put in, because networking, maybe that's something I have to add as well while I'm saying it, is that word effort. You know, it does take effort, and it's just not something that some people assume like, oh, you know, I'm not good at that. But are you really putting in the effort? Are you really going to a person? Are you really asking a question? And what are you really afraid of? You know, are you afraid of somebody thinking something, or are you afraid of, I mean, really, what's worse that can happen if you ask a question? It's just a human being. You can get no answer, or you can get a great answer. But if you don't do any of those, nothing's going to happen.
I look in the chat box and I see Xavier here saying a key point is you have to ask, and people won't think that you are there for them, but that you are there because you need something from them, and that's also something that is holding people back. So how can we look at that in a different way so we are not afraid to ask? Because basically we're mind reading there. We think that people will feel or perceive us as only being there because we need something from them and not because we want to be with them. Does that resonate?
Okay. Yeah, I think, well, there's two things that I'm thinking about here. One is we are thinking a lot of thoughts, which we don't know the reality of, because it's, you know, oh, people might think this and people might think that, and what is true? You know, is that the truth? You don't know what another person is thinking. So if you don't ask anything, you don't know. And if you know, if you keep thinking in your thoughts, maybe this, maybe that, then again, nothing is happening, right?
Yeah.
What was the
So
second
how
thing?
can you start small?
But you know, I'm not sure about what Xavier says when people don't think about you by themselves. This is not necessarily true, because you said it, and this is true, Helena. It requires some work. That recalled me. We used to go to a little restaurant when I was a kid, and I recall the manager saying, "Oh, we had less clients recently, so I started to going to the tennis club, to the golf club, so people see me. And then when they want to go to a restaurant, where would we go? Ah, we just saw Peppo. Let's go to his restaurant." This is what networking is about as well. This is
Staying
why
top of mind.
you need to build it so that when people have a need, they come to you. And this is also why I keep saying give forward. So that's how you can build your network, because people remember what you've done for them. So the important thing is network is not who you know. This is really passé, but people who know you, and you have to give them the ability to remember about you. I guess this is the trick. And when you build that, it's much easier to ask when you need something from them.
Another thing I read in the chat box is that I guess, Xavier, maybe that is what you meant, and not what I first made of it. We also think sometimes that people should know that we need something, that people should know that they can help us. So we think that they should be able to read between the lines, or basically read our minds. And then maybe afterwards we might be frustrated because they didn't. Also something where I always advise people to be a lot more explicit. So what's your experience there, Ali? Do you recognize that?
Well, yeah, I think we are all guilty of that. We're not, always clear about what we are looking for. And people do buy from people they know, like, and trust. So you need to build up that relationship first, rather than, I get it a lot with people connecting with me and then trying to sell me something within 2 minutes of connecting with me. Those days are gone. You need to, people don't just buy from people that they've never met before or never connected with. They need to build up some sort of connection point now before they'll press the buy button. So I also think that we're very bad at closing a sale, and that's the same thing as asking for help. That we don't necessarily follow it through to the end conclusion and ask that final question: shall we go ahead? We think we've done everything we can, but we haven't actually closed the relationship, as it was, and asked for that piece of whatever it was we were looking for, or for the sale.
As Peter said, it's a long-term relationship building. It's about building a long-term relationship, as he writes.
Absolutely. Yeah. But I also saw, I think it was Peter and also Daniel, who say sometimes it's a bit aggressive. In real life and also via social networks, people can be really be pretty aggressive in what they want and what they want to pitch. Is that a definition of networking? Being very aggressively on social media? What would you advise there, or how would you advise to act there?
Yeah, I saw his comment. It's gone now, but it was about LinkedIn. He has apparently an aggressive experience on LinkedIn. I think about, well, I don't have the experience, but I also go back to what I said about my tribe, because who do you allow in your network? Especially when it comes to social media, we all get a lot of messages, a lot of friends requests and all of that, but who do you really allow? You check them, do you just click yes, yes, yes? Do you just click friend, or connect? Or do you really pay attention to, wait a minute, I want some professionals, I want some, I think you can be selective. I think you can definitely decide for yourself who you allow and who not. And if somebody's aggressive, then probably they don't belong to your tribe, and you can just disconnect from them and don't react. I mean, that's my thought about it.
Yeah. You choose. I mean,
Exactly.
Definitely, it's not my definition of networking. I mean, to use an image, I rather see me like a gardener. Somebody, I let drop seeds without knowing it. I water them, sometimes without knowing. That's my natural way of give back, say thank you, and then when come the times to go to harvest, you just go with your little cesta, as we say in Spanish, your little basket. And I have seen in my professional career that's what has happened. Whenever the time came that I needed a change as something, well, I just went to my harvest, and when you have that orchard with those ripe fruits, it's much easier to go and ask and get results of what you're looking for. Much easier.
And I think aggressive people do put you off from buying from them and continuing a relationship. So if you build the relationship first and then move it on to selling or networking or whatever it is that you're doing, you'll get much better results than being very aggressive. Whenever anybody connects with me on LinkedIn or social media, I always send them a thanks for the connection request, how can I help? Which tends to freak people out slightly, but
Do you think there's a cultural difference in terms of what we call aggressive? I mean, in the US, practices that are very common over there I'm from West Flanders, where we are all pretty low profile. And I guess that because we're interacting globally now, we tend to think that our standards are the same all over the world, also in terms of the networking. So I guess, Rachel, you've been all over the world. What differences do you see there in terms of networking?
Well, what I said earlier is building relationships is definitely different in different countries, and it's definitely cultural related. In terms of aggressiveness, I wouldn't be able to say. I've never had to deal with aggression or never noticed anything like that. But yeah, again, building relationships in different cultures. But then I'm talking, there is a difference face to face, which is what I experience when I live in different countries. Online is still online. And it's a matter of choosing and connecting. But yeah, some people are very open. I mean, off the top of my head, I was in Switzerland. People are super friendly, but it's me who had to start the conversation. They don't really open up until you start a conversation. The French, you have to open up a conversation many, many times before they really start connecting. Canada went super easy. So in some, Middle East countries, as a woman, it's much, much harder in the male world. And I can't stop but looking at Philip's comment who says, a mixed network of male and female is more useful. And then he's also saying something that I'd like to, if you don't mind, ask you ladies as well. He says business opportunities are more likely, or it's a question, business opportunities are more likely to come from a loose connection than from a tight connection. I'm just wondering, I think that's a fascinating question.
Yeah, any views on that?
Well, it could be a cultural thing, because here in Spain, it's very much about making connections first before you will get anywhere. So that wouldn't work in Spain, having a loose connection, I don't think. I mean, I don't know what you think, Olivia, but I don't think that would work necessarily. But where is Philip based? Is he? I can't see any of the chat. I'm not sure why it's not.
He's in Belgium.
He's in Belgium, okay. So it's probably very different in Belgium than...
Ali, just below the setup...
no, it's not. It's not scrolling. I don't know why.
It's scrolling, yeah.
And it's actually overheating my computer in a minute. So if I disappear, my computer's
too hot.
Just about to blow up.
I guess it also depends on the type of business you're doing. For example, Olivia, you're in the mentoring business. I'm in coaching. Rachel, you're in coaching. I guess there must be a connection. There must be a relationship, because before people will start do business with you. I guess if it's something very, very transactional, where, for example, the price is KPI to decide, I guess that might be different. So I'm not sure if it's black or white. I think it's circumstantial.
I used to work in the oil industry in the Middle East, and there it's very much about relationships. And actually, as a woman, I was told that I would sell more as a woman in the Middle East than I would get more opportunities than the men. So it's not necessarily that if you're a woman in a Middle Eastern country that you don't get so many opportunities as a foreign woman. It's maybe different if you're local.
I have to add, because I am a cultural trainer, but I think we're a little bit we have to distinguish here, because on one hand, talking about networking and building relationships, one-on-one. On the other hand, when it comes to doing business in other cultures, then there's clearly defined cultures like in Asia, Middle East, they are relationship-based cultures. So doing business with them requires building a relationship. And this has nothing to do with male, female, or building a friendship or something. It's really business related. They want to know you. They want to know your company. They want to know who they're doing business with. Whereas like the US or Netherlands or Belgium, it's much more task oriented, business oriented, and it doesn't really matter if they if they have a really good relationship with you or not. So, but I don't know how. I mean, it is related to networking, but it's slightly different.
Yeah. I understand. I'm looking at the time. I would like to go to our last question, and that is, if you look at leveraging your professional network, what was your key learning? What is what you really want to share with the audience? And in the meantime, because it is indeed scrolling a lot, for the Q&A, please enter or re-enter your questions right now so we can have them all together at the top of the list. Thank you for that. So in terms of key learning, who wants to start?
Sure.
Olivia?
Whatever. I mean, as I said before, when I prepared a little for this panel, and I started looking back and at the thing I keep saying and so on, really for me, having a good relationship and a good networking is about that reciprocity that you provoke by giving back. So a friend of mine told me, actually my mentor, don't take away the opportunity for others to help you. With that saying, thank you, growing the pie, as I said earlier, you know, when you keep that gardener's image, this is really, I think, what I learned about how to make it work and how to benefit it from it. Give forward, reciprocity, which is the collaboration, say thank you, grow the pie, the more the merrier, in other words, inclusion. And for me, this is good. No, after all, it's about being authentic. You know better than anybody what that means, Elena. That's how we can. To me, that's my lessons learned. As I said, when it's time, go to harvest.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Olivia. Ali?
I think for me, it's very much about being clear what it is that you're looking for. So making sure that the person you're approaching can actually help you. And the worst thing they can say is no. So that's not actually that bad. Maybe they'll say no, but I know somebody that can help you, or they'll just say no and you just need to go and find somebody else. But that's only the worst thing that can happen. So just try it and ask.
Thank you. Very good. Rachel?
Yeah, I would definitely say I just go back to the tribe. You know, I would say go and network, and professionally, personally, I think knowing a lot of people and networking is really, really important. There goes Ali. And I think it's really important, but crucial for me, my key learning is to really be selective and to really try to, the more you network and the more you talk to people and meet people, the more you figure out who is really important for me to stay connected with and who not, and build that tribe. Like, okay, this person I really have a good connection with and we can help each other, or I can ask something and it just, and who not. I think being selective and not just try to be friends or try to connect to the whole wide world. No, be selective. Be selective and build your tribe, and then you will have a good, strong tribe, and you can dig into if you have specific questions. There's some noise.
Ali, is that you?
Yes, sorry. It's,
no worries.
It's overheated my laptop, so I've had to go and do some emergency work on it. Carry on.
No worries. Okay, thank you so much.
I think the three conclusions were really complementing each other, because there is not only one truth.
Yeah, excellent. So we're at the top of our 45 minutes. So any more questions? I know I can scroll and I can try to do that to see if there's anything left, because I thought that Philippe had another.
No, I don't think it's a question.
Women networks, we dealt with that, I guess. It's about building trust. Absolutely. Reach out at the right time for the right reasons, says Daniel. Okay, I guess we have dealt with most of the comments and most of the questions and remarks. Be genuine. Yes. So basically what I would like to suggest that is all participants will receive the contact details of the panelists. So if there are very specific questions, and please feel free to do that, you will receive a follow-up mail. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open the offers that we have, because as I said, we have some giveaways for you. So what I am going to do is I'm going to open the offers, and you will have the possibility to click them, and then there will just be another link opening in your web browser. You can just leave it there to make sure that you're not disconnected with us. So you can open all the offers and then deal with them afterwards. So maybe Olivia, do you want to start with what you have to offer?
Okay, fine. I'm a mentor, so what I can offer is a 1 hour mentoring thing, actually, specifically for people who are looking to or seeking to develop themselves either professionally or personally. And also I can talk with people and help them if they're looking to develop synergies to support women talent, because this is where I focus as well. And 1 hour mentoring session, they will have my contact details. The way I can help them is by leveraging, as I said earlier, my experience. I have worked through I lived in several countries as well, not as many as Rachel, but I had the opportunity to develop in many different ways, whether professionally, culturally, and as you said, I'm Belgium. I'm from Brussels, raised in a family business. Worked in corporate world, Citibank, working in audit, so I saw all the different departments. I also worked in the EU Commission in some scientific world, so I had a various abanico, we say in Spanish, fan, evantai. So and I also took a sabbatical leave, so I know what it means to take a rest. So this is what allows me, as I said earlier, to read my mentee, because I have a little witch side as well. I have, that's my magic touch, and I look forward to help people. This is the way I am. I mean, all of us are in those kind of profession because we want to give back. And
Excellent.
there you go.
Thank you so much, Olivia. You didn't have a link, but people will receive your emails in the follow-up email. So if you want to expand your network, your professional network, then you have the first opportunity here with Olivia. So I would say go for that.
Yeah.
Another one that we can do is a strategy session with Rachel. So Rachel, can you tell me a little bit more about your offer? I'm going to publish it.
Do you want to paste the link, or do you want me to do it?
I have put a link now on the system, so people should be able to click on it, but please give some information also to inform people what they can expect from this session.
Yeah, it's actually, if you click on that link and you keep it, and then you come back to this session, but there's two gifts. One is the strategy session, and also on the same page you will find a gift of a free PDF download, 5 steps to a freedom lifestyle. And so the whole strategy session is for you if you are an ambitious professional like me, and like so many who are sometimes stuck in life or in their job, and they just chaos and overwhelm in the head. And it's like, I want to do something that I really like to do, and I'm just, life has more meaning than this. And so I help to create clarity, confidence, and your next step. So in this strategy session, I really want to take the time to evaluate your situation and already give you that first step into the direction of your desired life. So I really want to make sure that even if this is a pre-session, I want to give you as much as I can to create that next step. And then, yeah, no strings attached. I'm just here for you. Give, right?
Thank you so much, Rachel. So I'm going to remove the offer in 5 seconds. So please make sure that you have clicked that link if you want to have the strategy session with Rachel, and maybe you watch our next labs then from another country, because Rachel might have given you the boost to live the free life and to move from countries. So I'm going to remove that now, and I'm going to add another offer from Ali, and that should be published right now. Tell us a little bit more about what you offer.
Sure. We've the Costa Women members over the last 4 years have written 2 ebooks. So we've given a link there to the 2 ebooks. They're mainly about living in Spain with lots of tips and advice, but a lot of the stories in there, they're actually true stories by Costa Women members for things like having children here, moving here, working here, living in the countryside, taking sabbaticals, all sorts of different stories. They probably would be appropriate to any other country. So even if you're thinking about moving to Dubai, for instance, or Australia, there's still some information in there that will be of useful for you and things to think about when you're researching living in another country. So you're very welcome to download that. And as people will get my email, if anybody wants to connect with me to ask about building networks, as in groups, I'm very happy to talk to people about how I did it and what worked and what didn't work, and share my experiences. So you can pass that on too.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I'm going to remove this offer as well. So if you want to download the books, then this is your last chance to do so. And then the last offer for some of you who might not have done that already is the possibility to register for the Oxygen for Leadership community. So what we have built is, I'm going to wait until this is.
Reminds me my New York days.
Not me.
Okay, so the Oxygen for Leadership community is basically a platform that is filled with leadership content. We are still building it. As a matter of fact, all the recorded versions of the labs will be published also on the Oxygen for Leadership community, but there's a lot more. There's white papers, there's downloadable ebooks, there's courses. So just click there in case you haven't done that yet, and register for a free membership. During our next lab, I will give away 10 affiliate memberships. That's the paying membership section of this community. So that's why I am going to remove the offer, and I'm going to invite you already for our next lab, and you will be the first to invite. So our next Oxygen for Leadership lab is in June 20. So you can just register. You will be the first to register there, and I hope that that we see you again. That it was an inspiring session today. It would be very great to have your feedback. Let me see. It would be great if we have some feedback in the. Oh, Rachel, you mentioned your email address in the chat. That's amazing. Maybe
it's
Olivia,
not my email address. It's just I didn't see your offer, so I didn't know where to look. So I thought I'd paste it there. But yeah.
Maybe Olivia, you can also put your email address in the chat so people can people can have it. So that's it for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed being here with 3 great panelists. Thank you so much for your contribution and your participation. Thank you also, audience, for your input and your feedback. It was really good to have this interaction and to have your views and your questions. And hope to see you next time. See you later.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you. Bye. Thank you.